All right, legends. Let's go. How's everybody doing? We've got a little bit of a corrective move, a little bit of a dump in the last few hours. We're going to analyze the situation. Is it a bad movement? What levels do we need to reclaim to continue this bullishness, guys? Let's go. How is everybody doing? Make sure to absolutely destroy that like button, guys. How is everyone? I'm going to have to change this because this is a little bit too big. Let's turn it back here into square and turn this here to the top left side. Let's get some music banging here in the background. Let's say hello to the beautiful community and analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin, because we did lose that point of control from last week, right? From the last 2 weeks, this range over here, we did lose that level. We got rejected exactly at that point of control just in the last few hours. Reclaiming this level would look pretty damn good for the price of Bitcoin. Now, we'll be analyzing the situation. We did lose those trend lines as well, which is really not much of an issue. However, we'll be analyzing, what levels do we need to reclaim, right? Is this just a corrective move? Are we going to go sideways? Are we going to pump? Are we going to reject? We're going to talk about the levels, the waves, Fibonacci extensions, what's going on here throughout this area. And first of all, we're going to say hello to the beautiful community, okay? Make sure to get your votes in, okay? Just a correction here, 92K zone maximum. Are we going to pump You know, the lows are almost in. Pump to over 100K is coming. Low is almost in, guys. This is the highest vote, also with the 90-92 correction, okay? So people are mainly bullish. People see this just a corrective move and that we are going to go to higher levels very, very soon, right? We're already getting a little bounce here on the lower time frame. If we do analyze here the local time frame on Bitcoin, let's take a look here at some major levels internally. All right, major levels internally. Let's get that weekly naked point of control as well here on the chart. Okay, we're going to get that point of control on the chart. Don't know why I've got that here. Let's get that weekly naked point of control on the chart right over here for a reclaim, right? Super important to reclaim this level as it has been lost for the price to possibly go to higher levels, okay? Let's analyze also the previous month, previous week levels, okay? We are also getting a little bit of resistance. Previous week open is where we got the bounce with this major drop. Now we are getting a bit of resistance here from previous week close, also with the VWAP, okay? VWAP is providing that resistance at the moment. Even a reclaim of the VWAP here locally would be pretty damn interesting to see if the price can actually push and claim that lower high right over here, which is where we do have that naked weekly point of control. No longer naked, of course, but overall reclaiming these highs would be very, very interesting. It does look like we want to get back above the VWAP right now. So we're going to be doing a little bit of more complex analysis, okay? A little bit more complex analysis. I know that people do not enjoy that much, or maybe you do, right? Analyzing this structure, right? We need to understand this movement to the downside. Is it impulsive? Is it corrective? What is going on? We've been losing a little bit of a few levels, but the volume is not extremely high. We got decreasing volume on the movement down, which eventually is a good sign for the bulls, right? Breaking down here and not getting a huge major move to the downside with decreasing volume since we had this pump, then that is kind of a good sign, right? At least in the short term, especially if we reclaim some important levels to see some more upside, right? Let's say hello to the beautiful community, okay? Nothing to, we'll dive into the technical analysis, right? But are we repeating the previous cycle's price action, right? We've already rejected a few $1,000s, nothing too major, not a major dump, okay? It's just a little pullback for the moment from the golden pocket of all-time high to that pivot low, right? Let me just get smaller here because I'm kind of in the way here, and it's not good to be in the way when we're looking at the charts, right? Very similar price action. We've been talking about this for the last few weeks as we were trading in the range here, that the golden pocket could definitely be a massive barrier, right, for the price of Bitcoin, and it's going to struggle, get a reaction, small little pullbacks from this zone. So is this the top, local top? We're going to get a larger pullback. We did on the previous cycle. We did get a significant move down, a move down of over 15, even almost 20%. Okay, more like 15% to the downside here after hitting that golden pocket. So that's not going to happen this time, right? We're just going to have shallow corrections. We have Michael Saylor buying Bitcoin and the ETFs going through the roof. It's just going to go up, and these small little pullbacks are just going to be bought back up, guys. Let's go. Moon mission, right? Straight candlestick to the upside this month. As they say, selling May, run away. Well, can May be bullish, right? Can May be bullish? I know lots of people, the main reason why the people sell in May is because they want cash for their holidays, right? They want to start their summer holidays with significant cash, and this is why, sell in May is a very famous saying, right? For all of those investors, they want to get some cash here for the summer holidays. Most of my net worth is in Bitcoin, but I already sold some Bitcoin at 90K and 100K. Should I sell some more? We're going to hold that Bitcoin. We're going to hold that, Bitcoin, because it does look pretty damn good. I have to say, we're still in the 4-year cycle, right? 2025. So it should end up bullish, at least till September, October, we're going to hold on to those Bitcoin. If not, we'll hold on to the next cycle, as they say, right? You ate me. Yo, Andy, how are you doing, my man? Zach, here we go. Volatility. We do have some news coming in here in about 1 hour and 30 minutes. ISM PMI coming out in 1 hour and 30 minutes. I'm not sure if we're going to get much volatility out of this, maybe ever so slightly. But let's go through the comment section. James XRP, my man. Yeah, I did an XRP video saying that XRP does look quite bullish actually for the next coming months. Didn't get too much love, not too many XRP followers on the channel. I actually don't like XRP, but the charts are the charts, and the charts do look bullish, by the way. So, all right, legends from Costa Rica, says Ryman. Reza, how are you doing? Hi, Andy, and all the legends. How are you doing? Fernando, good day, mate. Legend. Good day, Fernando. Let's analyze the situation for Bitcoin here because, yeah, we're losing a little bit of a few levels, not with too much volume. Should we be worried about this drop? Okay, there we have the M2 liquidity, right, which is all over social media. You know, people are going bananas with this, right? The M2 global supply, the money supply basically, right, going through the roof, and Bitcoin lagging behind. Will we see something similar here from 2024 where the M2, right, shot up here? Bitcoin was still sideways for several weeks, and then it managed to pick up, right? So now we can see, you know, that we are lagging behind, right, the M2 global supply. And, you know, are we going to follow through, right, and see Bitcoin to all-time highs? A lot of people are relying on this chart, I can see throughout all social media, which is very, very interesting. But anyway, let's go right away. We'll be focusing mainly on lower time frames, guys, right? This is what we try and, you know, detect and map the situation and really study the latest movement, right? This is the movement that we are going to be focusing, of course, with the general movement to the upside, right? These are the only waves that we are going to study to try and map the situation for the highest probability move, okay? Understanding this movement to the upside and understanding this movement to the downside, and what levels are important to reclaim to be bullish again, right? Or bearish. This is a sign of weakness, right? And we're actually going to go to lower levels, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. Nice fresh chart, guys. We'll be going through the levels and setups from zero. This is how we like to do it on the chart, right? Nothing on the chart, just pure price action, and then start building up the situation. So hello to everybody here. Much love. There's been several great Mays. Yeah, absolutely. It's not always that May needs to be bearish, okay? On the previous cycle, May of 2021 was not good at all. That's when we got the major drop, right? In May of 2021. So there's been great Mays, right? If you do take a look at the next Mays, right, throughout 2022, well, this was in bear market. So yeah, 2021 was bearish for Bitcoin. 2022 was also very bearish in May. So very, very bearish actually. But eventually when you start bottoming out, right, then for example, May of 2023, when we do take a look at May of 2023, well, it was downtrending, but it got a major recovery here in June. So May of 2023 was downtrending, wasn't that great. Let's take a look at May of 2024. That had to be bullish eventually, right? If, you know, 2024 was extremely bullish. May was pretty sideways. This is May of 2024 when we formed that large range. So we did get a nice little pump in May here in 2024 on Bitcoin, right? Bottoming out here at $56,000 and going all the way up to $71,000. So, but the average is that May is you know, usually bearish. When you take a look at the data from the last 100 years, May is more bearish than bullish, right? Will this May be different? Will this May be the May that's going to be bullish? Well, we're going to have to find out, right? I don't like seeing the price of Bitcoin rallying this much, right? And there's, you know, it's very, very hard for the price to just continue pumping and pumping and pumping with no, you know, with hardly any good pullback. So Yeah, I'm a little bit neutral at the moment based on May, if it's going to be bullish or bearish. You know, would be nice to get some pullbacks here, that is for sure. Let's go right away. Just continue with the comment section, and then we'll focus on Bitcoin, right? The levels. What would be nice for the price of Bitcoin to reclaim certain levels, analyze this movement down from the highs of Friday, and really come to the conclusion, you know, what levels do we need to reclaim to get that upside momentum, to get back above, you know, the Friday highs, get above 98k, if that is possible, or is it just going to be, this is a local top. It's going to be rangy and downtrending for the next coming days. And we'll talk about the levels of support as well at lower levels, right? Brother Gold View. Yeah, gold, we're going to focus mainly on Bitcoin. All the Mays of the last year of the bull market were always green except 2021. Yeah, that is good. If we talk about Bitcoin, then yeah, Bitcoin, has had, some Mays that have been bullish, of course, before the previous cycle. We've just taken a look at the last 5 years, right? So 4 years. Thoughts on Litecoin? Okay. There's been great several Mays. That is very true, okay? Not all Mays are bearish, right? What's your plan for altcoins, spot bags for this cycle? We can dive in through altcoins later on, my man, okay? Let's focus on the price of Bitcoin right away on the local time frames, because this is what we do best on the channel, right? Try and focus here on the local time frame. We have lost this major level, okay? Now the question is on this movement to the upside, right? Very, very bullish momentum. However, there's been that issue that's been talked about throughout the last few days, which is hitting a major higher time frame level of resistance. And as mentioned throughout the last 1 to 2 weeks, we cannot ignore this level, right? No matter how bullish the ETF buy-ins and all of the, no matter how bullish this is, you are hitting a technical level of resistance, and there's going to be massive leverage pressure at this zone, right? Price of Bitcoin does not move because you, me, and some institution buys a few thousand Bitcoin. It's moved purely on big leverage trading positions, okay? So there's going to be a lot of, large traders watching this higher time frame level, point of control and the golden pocket, right? You don't need, even bots, right? Trying to push the price down from this major level of resistance, just like what happened here on the previous cycle. Very, very similar price action. So we can't ignore this big level of resistance. All of the swing traders, they want to get into shorts here, and they want to try and push the price down for a major pullback. That is, there's no doubt about it, right? This is a swing trader's position. And if they're big whales that are swing trading Bitcoin, they are going to try and push the price down at this level, just like they did right over here on the previous cycle, right? So that's something that we need to consider, right? It's a higher time frame level of resistance. And this is why we need to focus on the local time frame, right? Local time frame. How did the price come all the way up here, right? How did it come all the way up here? Well, we'd had a massive rally throughout April, and it's been insane. It's been insane. We got, major rally at the beginning of April, right? The second week. And then we got a consolidation, very shallow pullback, big explosive move again throughout the third week of April. Nice consolidation, and then we had this little breakout over here. And now, of course, why didn't we get continuation after this pullback? Why didn't we just follow through here with 5 more waves and, get another high? Is this a sign of weakness? Well, I have to say, this is definitely a possibility that we've finished 5 waves. On the previous video, we were analyzing, some different scenarios, right? Could we, see this as a finished 5-wave structure to the upside, which eventually would bring a larger pullback in the next coming days and weeks, right? Regardless of what type of correction is happening in the zone, right? Will it be steep? Could it be, could we reclaim the highs again and form an ABC flat? That is possible. Could we just get a major, bounce and then, get a deeper pullback, just form a general local zigzag in the next, 5 to 10 days? Very, very much possible, you know, that this could be an end of an impulse, end of a structure, that it looks pretty damn bullish. Now, the bearish case scenario, as mentioned as well, is, you know, forming that ABC, right? Could this be labeled as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, and you just count this last leg to the upside that we had last week, okay, in the fifth wave? Very much a possibility as well. So it's like, we got the bearish case scenario, which is a 3-wave structure, and we've got the bullish case scenario, which is, you know, eventually finishing that 5-wave structure. Regardless, you know, this could definitely be the high, especially if you lose these lows. If you lose these lows, then I would be expecting, of course, you know, either a possible flat or a lower high and then continuation to the downside. Regardless, this movement does look very toppy. Regardless if it's the bullish one or the bearish one, you're looking for a larger range pullback situation. Could it be the case that we do form a higher low here, and surprise, surprise, this is just your first wave one to the upside? You're going to get a few more waves, right? Hitting $100,000. Absolutely. You know, why not? You know, it's a higher low at the end of the day, right? We're still forming a higher low, the higher low here from this range. Why not? You know, it's still possible that this is just your first initial pump, but we need to reclaim certain levels, right? We do need to reclaim some levels of resistance and see some volume kicking in. So that's what we're going to analyze, right? We're going to analyze the situation. As we do understand, the high could be in here. We form a larger corrective move. Maybe the high is not in. So what is important about this move is understanding this structure. And that's what we're going to do right now here, guys, on the lower time frames, as we like to do it. Okay, we like to go on the 15-minute, the 5-minute, and try and figure out what the heck has happened here from the Friday highs, weekend scenario. I don't like it, man. I don't like it. Very choppy. It's like, this is, you know, I hate weekends because it's extremely choppy. And then we got the dump here. I was leaning on the side that there could be a high probability that all of this is a retracement and we're going to push up to the upside here in the Discord. But, you know, overall, you know, yesterday, Sunday, I was saying we need to be very much aware here. The bullish case scenario was forming a flat structure, but we started losing some major levels of support. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not liking the bullish case anymore, right? Not liking the bullish case anymore. I want to see some support here from last week's high, which we did get a small little bounce. Also 1.618 extension for that speculative flat. And it wasn't looking good. This counts better as a finish impulsive move to the upside, where we do have 5 waves, right? Where we do have the impulse, first wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, your wave 4 in a triangle, right? WXY sideways momentum here, and then your wave 5, right? Pretty clear when you see this on the chart. And now the problem is with this pump is it could be a finished structure on the higher time frames. You know, this is the danger right now about this 5-wave move to the upside. If you lose certain lows, right, which is the lows of the range, I would definitely expect a larger corrective move throughout the next coming days, right? Especially if you lose the $93,000 low, right? Which we are not that far away. So we're expecting a larger kind of corrective move, regardless if it's going to be sideways or if it's going to be aggressive, right? And we go to much lower levels, such as the mid 80K zone, where we have a lot of support here in this area. Regardless, if you lose this low, sideways momentum or a corrective move to deeper levels, right, is the highest probability, because this could be the end of a wave, of a macro wave. The massive move that we had here in April could be the end right over here with this scenario where you finished 5 waves, or you finished here an ABC, which, you know, it's still very much possible, right? And your last leg here, right, is what was this one right over here from last week. Okay, so you know, it is important to maintain this zone right over here, because you know, for all of the bulls out there, it is actually super important that we do have a higher low to give the bulls a chance that, you know, hey, the waves haven't finished, right? All of those people that are laughing because of the waves, right? I did get some comments saying, you know, hey, follow Andy's waves and you're going to get wrecked. It's trying to, you know, look at the highest probability momentum, right? So it's extremely important to maintain above this higher low if we are going to consider this a consolidation, an end of a wave, right? And you have a new fresh wave here to the upside. When you do break out, as mentioned here, from this zone, when you do break out from a major range, okay, what you would want to see after a pullback, after the breakout of the range, is a higher low. You want to see a higher low from the start of the impulsive move. You don't want to come back down to the lows, because that is bad news. That means that you are going to be ranging for a long time and even have a deeper pullback in the next coming days, right? It's just simple market structure, nothing too special here. We ain't going too deep in WXYs and stuff like that on Elliott Wave theory. It's just basic market structure. If you break out from a range, you want to maintain a higher low, right? You want to maintain a higher low and not get down to the low of the range of the breakout, because this is the end of a wave. If you break out, you form a higher low, we look for higher for the next big wave, which would be the third wave, the most explosive one. In this case, you can see it right over here, right? So if you break out from that range, right, which is very, very effective, of course, guys, you break out of the range, you consolidate, third wave is what you want next, right? You want the third wave to the upside and form a higher low at some stage. We got a pretty decent move down, right? And it's already hitting, yeah, across the set, yeah, hitting the 0.88 Fibonacci. So that's a very, very deep pullback for a wave 2, and you're literally back inside of the range. So yeah, bulls need to show some steam here. They need to show some steam. We need at least to get back above that point of control that was lost quite aggressively early this morning, or depending on where you're at, right? You want to reclaim this level. Okay, so can we give a chance here for the bulls for a wave 2? We can give it a chance, but what we need to see is something pretty damn aggressive in the next coming hours, okay? Because all of this price action, it's been the weekend extremely choppy. You know, could we give it a chance that it's a 3-wave corrective structure? I have to say yes, we need to give it a chance. You got the drop, a little bit of sideways momentum, no real pull, you know, no real bounces here. And then the next big move, right? So you got a movement down, a bit of sideways momentum, and then a next move down. So can we label it as a corrective structure? I will label it as a corrective structure only if we do get back above this lower high right over here. Getting above this level and also the point of control, at least touching this level, would be very interesting to analyze how we get up there, right? So in a nutshell, going back here to the 15-minute time frame, this is downtrending. Without we can clearly see that, right? It's just a lower high, major breakdown. Golden pocket was not hit. You know, if you want to label this as a wave 3, which is the highest amount of volume from this range, we've got a bit of high volume here, volatility, but it's the biggest move, right? If you want to label this as multiple 1-2s, and then you get your third wave, if you do not overlap your golden pocket, then this means that this could be a wave 4, and you get your wave 5s, right? 4, 5, 4, you know, this could really just continue grinding to the downside just because you have a massive grind here, and it could be multiple 1-2s. So already getting back above the golden pocket and the point of control of this range would be a first initial sign of strength, okay? Getting back above the golden pocket, so you would invalidate this scenario to be a wave 3, getting back above here, the point of control from this range of last week is going to be looking pretty damn good for the bulls. Now, eventually there's another scenario here. This is your wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, you get a breakout, boom, boom, you consolidate, wave 5, then you get a pullback here. And this is the moment you want to be starting to think, okay, we've reclaimed certain levels. All of this looks corrective. We did not hit the lows here. It's time for the price to just continue to the upside. It's going to be a very, very clear sign of strength for the bulls. Right now, yeah, we are below those levels, right? We are below major resistance. We got back inside of the range here. And this is what happens, right? If you're not going to hold the value area high and you just break down with lots of volume, that's not a good sign. Reclaiming all of this will invalidate this being an impulsive move, okay? All of this being a corrective move if you do get back above the point of control and you get close to these highs right over here. All of this will be a great sign of strength, of course, after a 5-wave structure to the upside here locally. What you would want to see is a 3-wave move, find support. What tools can we find, to get that support is the session VWAP, of course, without a doubt, depending on where the VWAP is. Backtest the point of control after that breakout. You're reclaiming, you're breaking local market structure right over here. So this would be definitely a really good sign of strength if you manage to break out, right? For the bulls, just to be confident that we are going to be going to higher levels, we broke down major support, okay? At least locally here. There are many reasons to believe that, this could have been a local high and we are going to go lower. I have to say, I'm sorry. It is, I need the price action to prove itself here. We retraced all the way down to the 0.88 Fibonacci. So that is rare already for a wave 2. If you expect this in the next coming days, this will be highly likely once you start getting above the point of control and reclaiming this level. Also, you could form a larger corrective move. So you want to be cautious. You could do something like this and then come back down or go sideways. It's something that we need to be aware of. So it's crucial that your movement here to the upside really does form a 5-wave structure, right? What you want to see, this 5-wave structure is not the best example because this could have been the end, right, of a major move to the upside, right, on your wave 5. So we can't put this as an example because this is, a 5-wave move ending a structure, a larger time frame structure, right? 5-wave move to the upside, or an ABC as mentioned, right, which is also very possible. This 5-wave move, you do not expect a higher low if there is that possibility of the end of a major wave, right, on the higher time frame. So if this is going to prove itself to be bullish, guys, and it's not going to be bearish, we need to break out the last lower high from this move down. Getting above the point of control, getting above this lower high would be our first initial signs of strength to give the chance of the price of Bitcoin to get back here to the highs. And, hopefully you create that wave 3. If you are going to break out here from this zone, say that we break out, boom, 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 and we, create this very choppy price action, this is not going to be looking too great. This means that this could be a larger corrective move where you just form a zigzag down again. You start breaking down, get to the low 90Ks. You could go sideways, right? Form a triangle here. You form a WXY kind of structure. Then you move up. You want to see a breakout that is convincing, right? Get a large move to the upside and then correct and form another wave to the upside. This is why we're giving this example here from last week, right? Movement up, grinding to the upside, a big move with high volume, nice consolidation in your wave 4, bang, you get your wave 5. You want to see this, doesn't need to be that big, but you want to see a nice 5-wave move to the upside, right? To even think about, that we are going to claim this high. Right now, we have lost a major level of support. We do have our reasons to believe that this local time frame looking at the last few weeks of price action, that there are reasons to believe the high, local high could be in for the next, 1 to 2 weeks at least. And we're just going to be ranging and going slightly to the downside. There are many reasons to believe it. You got a 5-wave end impulsive move up. You got the ABC. This is the most bearish case scenario. You have a 3-wave structure to the upside. There is a valid count on this. So yeah, if we want to believe that we are going to go to, 98K plus, getting to 100, 100,000, 102,000 in the next coming days, the Bitcoin bulls need to start, showing up right now with this drop. If they don't show up, then looks like that more downside is possible. But as long as we maintain above this higher low, they have a chance. They do have a chance. As explained, you got the range. And when you break out from a range, you want follow through, right? You want follow through when you break out from a range after the pullback. If you don't follow through after the pullback and you come back down to the lows of the range where you started your impulse, then surprise, surprise, guys, we are in a corrective structure, if not impulsive move down, your worst case scenario, right? And this is just really talking about the basic market structure. Okay, basic market structure. When you move up, you retrace, you move up, you want follow through, the moment you, of course, overlap this pivot low, then, you have the risk of going to lower levels, right? It's just not, it's not rocket science. It's very easy to understand. So for the moment, if you are looking for massive bullishness, like a lot of you are looking for here, it is crucial to maintain this higher low and also get back above the point of control and get, preferably we do hit that $95,700. And what you want to see is a blast off here. Get a big move, consolidate, get another wave, and then you can retrace. If you form this kind of price action, it is game on for the bulls. Game on here. The retracement will be looking very attractive to backtest here, the point of control, right? You got also previous week highs, previous month highs. Let's take a look at those levels right away. We are currently trying to get above them, which could be the case. You got a new weekly naked point of control also here. Okay, let's talk about. So we want this price action. If we manage to reclaim point of control, hit this lower high, and form a 5-wave structure, it is important after that breakout. Okay, it is crucial that after the breakout, you consolidate and you revisit the highs, form a 5-wave structure, because it could be a 3-wave move up, and then the retracement, I'm not interested. This could be a surprise and you're actually going to break down. Okay, so it is crucial to really detect that big move with high volume and have a revisit of the highs once you consolidate, right? And then this will be the golden ticket to say, let's go. We're heading up to the highs, right? That's the end goal general idea. So do the bulls have a chance? Absolutely. The bulls definitely have a chance here. The most aggressive traders out there then would have, got into a long position here at this 7/8 Fibonacci, right? I think that we're going to form a higher low here. Let's all just jump in here on the golden pocket, right? From this movement up, golden pocket 7/8. And we're going to, really, really put our faith in that we are going to form a wave 3 here in the next coming hours, which is without a doubt very possible. But I'll be joining the party later on here for a long position. I want to see a big reclaim of the point of control from last week. Preferably we get it back above this lower high, because then that invalidates that all of this is a impulsive move down. And let's talk about a little bit of a classic pattern that we used to talk about a lot in the past, which would be a bump and run, right? Bump and run pattern, guys. Who remembers a bump and run? Doesn't look very bumpy. We did get a little bump yesterday. It's only a $2,000 move to the downside, so nothing too aggressive. But you got that general trend line. I'm not a massive trend line fan, but a little bump, and then a run scenario is without a doubt, possibility. Anybody that is not aware about a bump and run pattern, it is this one right over here. If you are a legit follower, we used to talk about lots of bump and runs in the past, okay? Lots of bump and runs, and they can be very successful, of course. You need a solid breakout and revisit the lower high resistance as support. Not much of a bump phase here, I have to say. But what will be crucial is breaking out from this bump and run with a 5-wave impulsive move. So what we want to see in this wave is a strong breakout, which could happen, to be bullish. And then the pullback is going to be looking very, very interesting. What we're aiming for here is the 50% to the golden pocket. It is crucial to form 3 more waves after this higher low, right? The price action is bearish since Friday, and there's no clear signs of strength yet, okay? For all of those bulls, this is what we want to see. We want to see break of trend, right, would be a first little sign of, okay, it's possible. Get back above of the point of control from last week's price action, crucial, and preferably we do hit that lower high, because this would invalidate this to be an impulse, right? It could be a larger corrective move, okay? So that's something that we want to be aware of. And this is why it's important, at least for our first sign, to get a 5-wave move up. This could definitely then do this and form a lower high, and then it's collapse time, right? But this would be your, then this could roll down. You form a lower high. Everybody's thinking that we're going to hit the highs here, and this only ends up, in a higher, local corrective move, right? That's going to be larger in time. So that you have your initial wave 1, 2, and 3, and it just forms a large ABC 3-wave structure. And then it turns around, but we don't, doesn't matter. We are interested in the first leg up, at least to the highs. And this movement, we would want to see follow through. We want to see big pushers, because we want to label it as our wave 3. And we want that, price action to really start getting up to the highs of Friday, right? So who is bullish, who is in longs and does see the breakout here happening, right? Maybe some aggressive traders would say, it's a fake out to the downside. It's a correction. And, the fact that we've hit, after this movement to the upside, the 0.88 Fibonacci, it is a very, very strong pullback. This is the moment where you start having your doubts that could this be a wave 2? If it is, then I personally need to see some strength. I'm in no long positions down here. All the longs that I took from last week, they're all closed eventually. I mean, if you did not take profits, well, this happens, right? You're back at entry. All of the longs taken from last week here are closed. So I need a little bit, to continue here getting into long positions. I need a little bit of a sign of strength. And that is the sign of strength that has been explained. Okay? Claim the point of control, claim this lower high. If it is going to do so in a 5-wave structure from the lows of today, pullback will be looking very, very interesting to then look for the next movement up. So it will be time to jump into another long position, at least to the local highs, because it could end up in a 3-wave structure. Then, surprise, surprise, it's not impulsive. But the idea would be to try and get that push through here once we reclaim these levels. So, yeah, not much more for the moment. Price has lost these levels. It's looking bearish, but you have to give a chance to the bulls here, as you are maintaining a higher low. Let's go right away through the comment section, see what the people are saying. What is what do you believe, right? Based on the price action, what's a sign of strength for you? We are bouncing here, says Records. Yes, we are. We are here ever so slightly. So maybe this could be it. This is the low right there. Cheeky 0.88 touch. Cheeky 0.88 touch. You know, we know that 0.88s can be cheeky. For me, it's the second golden pocket, right? It's the second golden pocket. It is highly respected when you have a lot of traders expecting that this is going to be hit. And then the 0.88 gets a cheeky bounce. So for this to be a wave 2, bulls are going to have to prove themselves right now. They got a lot of resistance above. Lower high resistance trend line. You got the point of control here. And you need to break above, at least revisit the lower high from the start of this major drop. Okay, so what you're looking for is a bit of a V-shaped recovery and form that 5-wave structure. So we want to see that corrective move. For the moment, it is down. So let's see if the bulls gives us that confidence, right? And have a sign of strength here in the next coming hours. For the moment, right? Anybody that got into a short position here on Friday, I mean, yeah, this is, I think we did talk about this on a stream where you have your, we were looking at this as a wave 3 and we're looking for our 5s, get that choppiness here and then, start pulling back, right? So we got our initial third wave here. And what we were looking at here is a couple of 4-5s or a consolidation and claim this high. This was an aggressive double top scenario right over there if you're labeling this as your wave 5. 𝗕𝗏𝘆 did talk about the start of an impulsive move down. Shout out to 𝗕𝗏𝘆, one of the coaches in the Legends trading community, about a start of a multiple 1-2 here. 1-2, 1-2, 3 and moving down. And he actually talked about the 7-8 Fibonacci for a short position here, which is pretty damn accurate, labeling all of this the end of an impulsive move up. Let's go right away through the comment section, see what the people are saying. So that's what we need here for Bitcoin. Okay, we need to reclaim certain levels, form an impulsive move to the upside, and then we can start thinking of new highs, baby, new highs. Let's go through the comment section. Some people are saying that a low is in right now. 92,800 low to be hit. 92,800 low to be hit. Yeah, which is literally these lows right over here, right? We know that there's lots of liquidity hidden at those levels. It's a classic level to hide liquidity. Look at this. As soon as you get beneath this low, that is when you have hundreds of millions of long liquidations, right? We'll get down there. For the moment, the bears have a chance. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Lots of liquidity below in $93,000. Lots of it, though. Lots of liquidity still above 98K. But the liquidity below 93K is very near. So that's the thing, guys. Beautiful back test also from that point of control. So you break the point of control here and you back tested it almost to the dollar, right? So you get the breakdown, revisit, point of control, rejection to the downside, right? Of almost $1,000. This could still be a leading move, right? If this were to be multiple 1-2s, big breakdown, lower high. Let's see what happens. A reclaim of all of this zone could be the first sign of strength. For the moment, we did break down major levels, so you're just downtrending still since the Friday's highs. So let's see. A good support, a little SFP, any aggressive scalpers out there. This without a doubt would be an aggressive long position. It's just a very, very classic SFP levels from a range when you revisit the first lows of a range. This is a 10-day range. Could be your SFP ticket, okay? I would consider these lows as a pretty interesting SFP scenario to get a local bounce at least to the VWAP, the session VWAP, right? This low could be a little bit of a problem, but there is a little scalp here of $500-600. We always like these higher lows from a major range for an SFP. And it's a good entry, good risk management, stop loss beneath the low, entry at the swing failure pattern. One of these two pivots is without a doubt a good swing failure pattern for an initial scalp. You can be very defensive, very easy to manage risk on these local trading setups. So you just want to be aware of, those two levels, right? If we were to roll down, continue here, this downtrend. What I am worried about is, all of this being multiple 1-2s. You just formed your third wave, 4, and maybe your 5-4-5 waves are going to be a little bit aggressive, right? And you do kind of just roll over here. So it's crucial to get back above this level. There's no more to it. Downtrending from Friday highs. Big move, breaking major support. We need a reclaim. We need a shift of the local trend to give a chance for the bulls to get back above here. If not, we're downtrending since Friday's highs, right? Depending on what high time frame, because I will get a lot of hate on this. From Friday, we are downtrending. From April, we're uptrending. And, on higher time frame, we have broken downtrend also, right? We were a very heavy downtrend, and this, you would label it as a break of trend. So we are in a new, fresh uptrend since the highs created in January, right? So we are uptrending on the slightly higher time frame. Eventually, we're uptrending on the daily, right, weekly time frame. It depends on what time frame you look at, right? Because I will get a lot of hate on this saying, we're not in a downtrend, right? We're uptrending, we're in bull market. This is depending on what time frames you're looking at, okay? Low time frame since Friday, we're downtrending, right? There's no more to it. You can't make this up. So anyway, let's go right away. Let's go right away through the comment section and say hello to the beautiful community, guys. I haven't got any moderators today at the moment, okay? No moderators at the moment. So if you want to bash me, it's your time right now. Because we don't have any moderators to delete these bad comments, right? Or hate comments. So you have a chance right now to bash me because the moderators are not here. So if you want to really, bash me now on the live stream, now's your moment. Because moderators are not here. Anyway, let's go right away. Hamid, there is a death cross and much possible to go to 91,500. Hamid, much love to you, brother. I've been looking at you here, joining the live streams the last few weeks. So yeah, or lower and come back to see the gap on $96,000. Very aggressive. Okay, I like that point of view. I like the death cross. Much possible to 91,500. We do have that CME gap, right? You know that guys that are a legit follower, they know that I am not a massive CME gap guy. I don't really care where they at and where they come from. They come from the weekend's price action. I know that, but I don't really care about the gaps too much, if they are going to get filled or not. We know that we have gaps at very low levels. But yeah, it would make sense. We do know that gaps do get filled. We got this gap right down here that hasn't been filled yet. So I don't really focus about the gaps because, when you back test the gaps and you believe that it's going to be filled very soon, most of them do get filled. But there's a simple explanation on why the gaps get filled, right? Because the price action moves up and down. And if you have a gap here or a gap here or a gap here, they are going to get filled with the swings, right? So that is the main reason why they get filled. Also, they do provide a big support or resistance, but if you were focusing on this CME gap that has not been filled, this was from the previous weekend 2 weeks ago. If you're focusing on this gap to get filled in this range, and we were bullish on this range over here, understanding that what is being formed, it has high probability and being a corrective kind of structure. And we're looking for the highs to be taken, right? Where we spotted the possible low where it could be in, which was the valley area low, form one zigzag here or a flat, and then get the push up above 9060K. So, the people that really follow the gaps in detail, we're going to fill the CME gap. We're going to fill the CME gap. We're going to correct. This looks choppy. We got a Bart-Simpson pattern, and we're going to roll down, right? And we're going to fill the gap. Well, the gap was not filled here. So you're many days, focusing on the gap and not the price action and the local structure, understanding that there's high chance that we do take out the high and we do not get an aggressive move down. If you watched the previous streams throughout this range, guys, you know that we were all the time saying, we're likely going to take out the high, likely going to take out the high. We want this to, we're following the structure. We had a triangle here. We were looking for a zigzag. You name it, right? When we formed the triangle, then we knew that we are in our last move and that we're going to claim those highs, right? Who was here in this nice little range, paying attention to the price action, right? And the proper complex technical analysis. So if you were waiting for the gap here, throughout last week, gap's not filled. So yeah, this is the thing about the gaps, right? I'm not a huge fan that we need to fill the gap in the next coming days, right? We could drop down and fill the gap in 2 weeks, right? Not a massive fan on that, right? Because, when you back test the gaps, they can get filled whenever, right? Whenever. There's no need to fill the gap today, tomorrow, or next week. So it's just not a thing that I take into consideration. I take it into consideration as resistance or support. A lot of the times when you fill a gap, you might reverse. So you kind of fill the gap. When you fill the gap, then you could get a reversal. This I do like. I do understand that gaps, when they are filled, they can provide the resistance and roll over. This I am very much aware of. Same here. You got a little fill of the gap, then you got a pullback. That it does provide support and resistance, but the fact that we need to fill the gap is something that I could not care less, because it's a bunch of nonsense, right? Anyway, let's go right away through the price action of Bitcoin. I'm going to continue through the comment section. We're downtrending since Friday, guys. All of those bulls out there, we need to reclaim. We need a reclaim point of control. We need to reclaim all of this zone and get a nice impulsive move on the 5-minute, 15-minute chart, right? We need that 5-wave structure to really believe that we are going to come up to the highs. Till we do not see this, we are downtrending. We could be ranging, could be in a larger correction, right? So yeah, there's not much more here to say. I need a little bit of more information for the to say that I can't say here that the low is in when we're in this downtrend, right? You're in the range. There's no big major support. You got a pretty nice move down. If it does break out, then so be it. But this is not a major level for me to say the low is in, right? It's going to form a higher low. Once we get that breakout in a 5-wave structure and we do form some kind of a corrective move and we're back testing the point of control of this range, then I would say, yeah, this is good support. I like the breakout with high volume. This corrective move has a high chance that does get follow through, right? So that's what kind of what we're looking at here. And hopefully we do not form a massive range which gets very, very complex. Who was here throughout last week? Let's see if we do find a bit of that price action that we formed here last week, because it was getting complex on the lower time frame, right? I'm going to go through the comment section in just a second, guys, but I want to really emphasizing and explain this local range that we formed last week. And you have to enjoy this. You do have to enjoy when we were analyzing. I've actually got it here on a folder somewhere. There it is. You have to enjoy this kind of price action that we were talking about, because this was, it was getting complex, sideways momentum, Some people talking about the gap getting filled, and yeah, I mean, we must have it. There we go. We have it right over here. I got it. This provides a little bit of, being legit and trying to understand what is happening here on the 15-minute time frame. This price action that we did form in this range, and we did have the gap down here. We got the CME gap down here. So there's a lot of people, that really focus on the gap. The gap's going to get filled. And we understood that all of this with this local price action, as we did hit the 0.88 Fibonacci as well, this would be rare for a wave 2. This movement down does not look terribly impulsive. And we are looking at point of control and value area low to hold as support, right? When we do take a look at the price action here. We're literally looking at this latest move to the downside to really get that support from the value area low and form a ABC, kind of a flat or a zigzag here on the latest move, and then get that move to the upside, right? This is literally that price action where we were in that range last week. So we were looking here a little bit of a movement like this, maintain the low 93k levels and get that leg to the upside. So which literally did happen. This is like kind of predicting 4 waves in advance, which you need to come to that conclusion. The only scenario here was forming a kind of a flat or a zigzag and then, get that leg to the upside, which is what happened. And that's what happened right over here, getting that movement down. And there were a lot of people very, very bearish. A lot of people were very bearish in this range. The main topic here, looking at the price action, is it's getting exhausted. This looks exhausted. It looks very toppy, Bart Simpson pattern, right? Rollover scenario. And we ended up flushing those shorts. We talked about this being a good level to long, based on that complex correction that happened here locally. So, right now it's not easy. It's not easy. We need a little bit of more information, and the only information here, which is crystal clear, that I need to believe that the highs are going to be reclaimed from last Friday, is have our initial pumpy action to the upside with a nice 5-wave structure, right? Getting impulsive, breaking the local downtrend of the last few days. So I can, really say that, hey, we are maintaining the higher low from this wave. And if I want this to be a bullish corrective move, I need to see the first initial signs of strength, which would be breaking out this major level of resistance, which is the point of control, lower high resistance trend. And this is unlikely to shoot up to 98k, right? You're going to get the big move up, and there will be a pullback of some stage at some point, because there is a weekly naked point of control here at 96,100. This could be a quick rejection level, but the pullback here is what I would be interested in. Yeah, that weekly naked point of control all the way up there. We do have, the golden pocket is just at that weekly naked point of control. So if we were to break out here very solidly and we consolidate and we get another move up, this will no doubt be bullish, but a rejection point is the golden pocket and the weekly naked point of control sitting at 96,100. Now I would expect a pullback down here. It could be a short little scalp trading setup, but regardless, I would be, looking for a 3-wave corrective structure, find some proof of support. Session VWAP might be sitting round about that zone, right? Depending, I'll be eyeing session VWAP, 3-wave corrective structure. You're breaking the, major resistance that you're looking to flip as support. And then when you analyze the last 2 weeks price action, if you broke out from a major range and you did not hit the lows, you need to give the bulls a chance. But first of all, I need to see the break of you know, and we need to get it back above resistance. We're down trending for the moment since Friday. So yeah, we need to see the bulls stepping in. Right, so yeah, you know, we get the point here, right? I think we get the point here to understand the market structure. Legends, if you are interested in trading right now, MEXC has a great bonus. They do have the $30,000 deposit bonus, but they also have $100 for the first 100 users. This is probably going to be swept up today. Okay, the first 100 users that sign up on MEXC, which is a platform that just requires an email and a password, you're getting $100 bonus to trade with, guys, for free. First 100 users get $100 tether for free, guys. So, and you use this for trading, right? So you can trade and withdraw the profits right away from this bonus. Take advantage, guys, because you need to take, you know, it's free money, literally, right? First 100 users, and this bonus only came for me yesterday. They, you know, MEXC got in contact, say, you know, got $100 for the first 100 users. So make sure to, you know, this is going to disappear very likely tomorrow or after tomorrow. Take advantage of that. You also got 25% fee reduction, guys, when you sign up with the link down below on MEXC, which is just absolutely great. You know, you want low fees. $50 on your Binance account. Right, let's go. Aditya, my man, here he is. I got a moderator. I'm not sure if anybody bashed me. Got my moderator here now to defend any bad comments. Appreciate you, brother. My man, Hamid, much love to you. Hope all is well with you. Alex, had a baby last week. My son, being so tired, I forgot I was in a short position. Entirely woke up this morning thinking deeply about where to enter. Turn on computer and I'm up 177%. Gift from the gods. Alex, my man, congratulations on having you know, your son. Much love to you, my man, Alex. Stay safe with your trading, right? This is kind of, you know, try and be a little bit responsible on your setups, please, because this is like, I woke up and I'm in profit, right? Maybe you could have woken up and you're at a loss, right? Oh my goodness, guys. You know, a lot of people do trade based on pure gambling, right? Trading as gambling. It is not, guys. It is just it's looking for the highest probability setup, right? If you want to make money long term on this game, you know, you need to create your plans, reclaim certain levels, you know, have your stop losses, invalidation levels, and be responsible with your trading, right? I understand that coming back down here to the lows, yeah, this could be a swing failure pattern, right? There's liquidity beneath these higher lows, but I would take this as a scalp, right? Lots of people would say, hey, you know, it's one of those trades that you would want to maintain open. Just, you know, lots of people would think that this is going to happen, right? And yeah, this might only get a bounce of, you know, $500 and then, you know, come back down and break down, right? I would take this as a scalp. You know, you got local level of support that you could flip as resistance, and you got the session VWAP, right? Local session VWAP, but it's a scalp, right? You can get in, get out, make a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 risk reward, bang, bang, you hit the local levels of resistance and get out. You know, this is a nice little quick trade setup. But you can't get into a long position here and go and have a baby and come back tomorrow believing that you're going to shoot up here from the highs, because it might just be one little bounce and then you come back down and you're getting liquidated, right? With no stop loss. Well, eventually on swing failure patterns, it's super easy to manage risk here. You know, they got baby stop losses, very, very small stop losses. But so yeah, there's a quick little reaction liquidity sweep. But we want to be cautious also with this swing failure pattern, because there is lots of liquidity here. This could end up in a pretty nasty breakdown. Okay, I would really assume that these lows would be swept as well. It could be a nasty wick to the downside, sweep up that liquidity, and it would be pretty nasty probably, right? It's not going to be an easy, just small little wick and then back up. Probably won't be an easy trade to manage just because of the amount of liquidity that you have sitting down below $93,000. You know, there's a lot. 93, 92, you know, 91.5. There's a lot of liquidity here at these lows. So yeah, you know, you could expect that, you know, that first higher low probably is not going to hold on for an SFP. Interesting to see the liquidity, massive. You know, somebody, I'm not sure if you heard the news, guys, you know, well, the news, or saw it on X. I did see it on X somewhere. There's a big massive whale that shorted somewhere around about 95 with something like, I'm not sure if it was 100 million or something, or 200, I don't know. There's a kind of a whale that shorted at 95k and has his liquidation at 102k or something. Apparently, I'm not sure what exchange. I did see that on X somewhere. I haven't got it ready, but something interesting that I saw today while I was going through X. Apparently, a big whale shorted Bitcoin at the 95k zone. You must have I mean, if you're in the crypto space, guys, you must have seen this on X. My man Aditya, oh yeah, like button, guys. It is important right now for the like button because I've only got 170 likes. No, oh man, this is so lame. It's so lame. It's so lame for me to have over 600 people watching and only 170 likes, guys. You know, oh my goodness. You know, I'm at the marina right now here in Dubai, and I'm gonna jump out the window. You know, make sure to turn the news on tomorrow, because it was, you know, this you know, somebody got killed here, crypto streamer in Dubai, because he threw, you know, and I'll leave a note. I had not too many likes here, so this is the main reason why I jumped out the window, because, you know, likes were very, you know, were under 200. You won't see that news. They like to cover up here. They might say, you know, somebody got killed here. They might just cover it up. Nobody's going to know anyway. Sweep up. down, you know, down the... Anyway, enough talk about this situation. It could be serious. Anyway, let's go right away. Continue through the comment section. And I know that like button is going to shoot up right now. I hope so anyway. If not, it doesn't matter. We'll continue. Oof, damn. 250. Wow, that's crazy. Like button. Thank you very much, guys. It does really mean a lot to me. All right, it's time for comment section. Dumping. Yeah, we are. I was trying to bring a bit of hopium for the bulls here. Still moving down, bringing a bit of hope. I don't like this move. I really don't like this kind of movement down. And for me to say that we're going to hold this higher low, I don't like it. You know, I need to see, you know, a first bullish sign. I need to see a breakout of above resistance. And the fact, guys, and I know some people don't take it seriously. There's some guy that hates Elliott wave theory. and just looks at the ETF inflows. I got, you know, there's some guy that's commenting on my videos that says we are going to go straight up to, I'm not sure if it's if he's serious or not, but, you know, ETF inflows are crazy. We're going to shoot up already, bull market. We are just cautious and look at the local levels where we could find resistance. And, you know, this is a main reason of a level of resistance as well, right? Just using the golden pocket from all-time high to the low. Point of control. This is a serious level that would be unusual to slice it without a reaction. You know, it would be unusual to just slice this level and go up to 100,000 plus, right? You would expect some reactions. Last cycle, this level did get a major pullback. Okay, so, you know, just take it into consideration. This is a great level for swing traders. Swing traders right now, they're jerking off with this level. They'll be like, you know, all of those people that are bullish, they are dumb. They're not zooming out and don't realize where we at right now. Boom, swing trade. This is going to go down to the low mid 80k levels. This is definitely a swing short level for all of those swing traders out there. And you have the previous cycle just to realize it's the same level, right? Why wouldn't it get a reaction and rejection. And you even have the point of control here in this cycle, which you did not on the previous cycle. You had the point of control slightly higher, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, point of control was very high. You got a little reaction here, but it did blast through eventually after this wave. So yeah, a little bit of a tougher resistance in this cycle, and you just need to take it into consideration, right? Let's go right away and go through the comment section. And CVD massive bearish, CVD locally. Let's go. 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝗽𝗫. Guys, if you haven't checked 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝗽𝗫's channel, make sure to go and check it out. Share some love. He provides an insane educational content every single day. Technical analysis, possible setups, what he's looking at. Andy, my man, chin up. All right, my bro. Chin up here with a like button. And up, much love to you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Not funny. Yeah, I know it isn't, my man. I won't say that out loud. Let's take a look at the CVD divergence, because apparently 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝗽𝗫, the man himself, the legend, is talking about massive bearish CVDs, which is, yeah, at least on Bybit, US dollar tether, big, oh yeah, and on all of the exchanges, my goodness, big bearish CVDs are on the formation right now. High highs on CVDs, lower highs on price action. We do not like to see bearish CVD divergence on a downtrend. It does not support the idea of getting a reversal, but let's see. Let's see, we've got some big bearish CVDs right now locally, which is not helping for that massive reversal, right? Let's go through the comment section, guys. If you haven't checked out 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝗽𝗫's channel, make sure to do so. He's here, 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝘽 Trading, in the comment section, the legend himself. Just hit the like with all my accounts. What a legend. When we check Fibonacci retracement, says Empire Trades, another fellow follower here. My man, hope you're doing well. Let's go. When we check Fibonacci retracement on the 1 hour chart, there is a point that needs to come down at 86,200, and then BTC will pump up. That's very interesting. When we check Fibonacci retracement on the 1 hour, there is a point that needs to come down to the $86,200. So, interesting. Fibonacci retracement from the lows to the highs. Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, if you look, yeah, 50% Fibonacci, we don't, yeah, well, hang on a minute. If this is going to be a 5-wave structure to the upside, if it is going to be an impulsive move, as mentioned, right? If it is going to be a strong impulsive move in 5 waves, right? And this is your first initial wave 1 after this strong pullback that we had throughout the last few months. Without a doubt, if we are labeling a wave 2 here, which is what we want to see, we want to see a wave 2 here, and we want to form the easiest corrective move ever, which is a 3-wave structure. Then, yeah, 50%, which is at $86,200 approximately, or golden pocket or 7/8, the most brutal retracement would be the 7/8 Fibonacci, but 50% at a bare minimum. Yeah, and this is very interesting that you point this out, right? Because this could be a 5-wave end of an impulse, and what we are going to see throughout the next coming weeks is a little bit of a retracement. And we do have the previous cycle, which is absolutely awesome to analyze when you consider the similarities that have been formed. This does not need to happen, okay? This is just taking that, taking it into consideration that we retraced, okay? We got rejection from the point of control, from the golden pocket, sorry, not the point of control, my goodness. And point of control this time, right over here. We retraced down. Out of curiosity, it did retrace down to the 50% Fibonacci. I mean, this movement, this rejection that we did get on the previous cycle did actually retrace to the 50%. That's where it held. But what is fascinating here is the three-wave structure. I mean, this is what we want to see in the next coming days, right? Give or take 1-2 weeks. This is what we want to see. We want to see a three-wave structure. And note that when you realize that the price is going to get a reversal is when that third wave move to the downside starts overlapping the pivot lows of your first wave down. Once you crack that high and you hit it, if this were to be bearish, you want this third wave to absolutely rip, not get a bounce here and overlap the lows. You were getting resistance, but this is already bullish. A descending wedge, right? For all of the, keeping it simple. Move up, it's a bull flag, you idiot. Forget your waves. It's a descending wedge, it's bullish. Come on, keep it simple. We're going to break out, right? Well, I mean, going into detail with this movement, once you overlap these pivots, it's bullish. I mean, it would be awesome to get just a three-wave structure. Right, imagine that we mirror the previous cycle. Everything's the same. You got the consolidation, major dump, accumulation, major pump. You're rejecting from the golden pocket. Same scenario, right? Kind of a distribution, dump, accumulation, golden pocket, three-wave structure to the downside to hit the 50% Fibonacci, which is sitting at, the $86,200 range. I mean, we'll be eyeing this corrective move if it is going to be corrective, guys. Okay, because it might not be corrective. We might get surprised and it's an impulsive move down and we're heading back to the lows. So it is crucial to see proof of support on the 4-hourly time frame, daily time frame. Once we see this, I mean, that's going to be extremely bullish. Once we get that bounce at some stage, imagine mirroring the previous cycle, right? Movement down, because you're rejected from the golden pocket and you form a little bit of an aggressive move down, three-wave structure throughout the next couple of weeks. I am bullish long term on Bitcoin. I am bullish long term on Bitcoin. But you cannot avoid looking at where we at right now, especially when you have formed a possible end of a structure here. There's 5 waves. There's 5 waves into the golden pocket. Yeah, whoever managed to short, swing traders in short positions now are jerking off. They're saying this is such a classic level to reject. And it happened on the previous cycle, just so you can see the previous cycle. History does not need a repeat, but hey, it's we're very much forming a very, very similar type of price action from the previous cycle. That is for sure. And it is actually rejecting. So let's go. Aditya, my man. Daniel Singleton, afternoon, my man, moderator, new fresh moderator, Daniel Singleton. Shout out to you, my brother. Much love. It was 136 million with leverage 40x. That is crazy, right? There is actually a big whale shorting at the 95,000 range. I'm not sure if it's 95.2. I'm in a short and I'm bricked up, my man. World War 208. World War 208. Yes, money printing need. We need that money printer to go on, legends. Sell in May and go away. Still valid in 2025. Yeah, this is well. Losing the lows here is definitely going to be very interesting, guys, because as mentioned, if this does manage to hold, if this does manage to not hit today the 92,900 lows from this range, there is still a chance to actually, form a 5-wave structure here. This has been the corrective move. As long as the price with this pullback does not hit this low right over here, then the probabilities of continuing to the upside successfully decrease. Of course, there are many types of corrective structures. There are the flat structures, which is a complete trap eventually, right? You could hit the lows and form an ABC flat, right? ABC flat. You form a double top in the end, but this is all part of a correction. I would be very interested in shorting a double top here if we claim these lows and get back above. And it's all purely based on market structure and understanding, the trap situation. If these lows are claimed, which we are very close to and claiming them, just $1,000 away of claiming them, we will likely form a larger correction throughout the next week. Regardless if it is going to be a flat, regardless if it's going to be a sideways complex WXY, or if it's just going to be an aggressive zigzag. You bounce, you form a lower high, and boom, right? You form a C wave down. If you claim these lows, it is corrective time for the next few weeks. And you can claim the highs on a correction, but if we claim these lows and we get a really decent move to the upside, right, relatively fast, I would be definitely eyeing the possibility of an ABC flat here, without a doubt. No doubt about it. So it's something interesting to take into consideration. We'll get more information as we do get the price action, but you need to give the bulls a chance here, right? The bulls have a chance. If you break out successfully, which, it doesn't look like it too much right now, without hitting these lows, this could be just another higher low. I'm going to give a little bit of hopium for the bulls out there, right? A little bit of hopium for the bulls that were calling for 100K plus on the previous streams. Damn you, bulls. We were talking about possible bearish case scenarios, and I'm getting bashed from the bulls here. It's only up from here. Look at the ETF inflows. Where are they right now? Where are you? You bashing me. We look at bullish and bearish case scenarios, right? I'm not a perma bull or a perma bear. I realize the risk and the resistance that we are on the higher time frame. I'm getting bashed here on YouTube last week saying about this golden pocket. Come on, brothers and sisters, it's just a major level on the chart, right? So stop it right now with the bashing. I'm only here to provide the analysis and the levels of resistance and support and the different scenarios. And it ain't, well, for the moment, we need to see the bulls stepping in right now, because we could be in a major corrective structure here throughout the next coming weeks, which will come with the narrative of sell in May, right? And run away, as they say. If we do, I've got, if I wanted to cash out here, I should have sold a bit more Bitcoin, because I have some, a lot of my net worth is on Bitcoin. So I take those hits, guys, down below, and at this zone, looking at this chart, it's not a bad idea to sell a bit of Bitcoin. I got too much of net worth on Bitcoin. So, I always consider to diversify a little bit, stay in cash a little bit, because you never know what's around the corner. And, this is really a moment to say, if shit hits the fan, you want to be a little bit more in cash here. But we are bullish on Bitcoin, If I don't sell a bit here and we crash down and we go to much lower levels, I'll just have to buy some more. I won't sell at lower levels. I'll just buy some more. So anyway, let's go through the comment section. Pump it till funk. We do have some news in about 12 minutes from now, which is ISM services, we do have Fed press conference on Wednesday and Fed interest rate decision, which I think we all know that there's not going to be any changes. Yeah, the forecast is 4.5, which is the same. I think by the next one in June, there is going to be a rate cut. I think there's some slightly high probabilities that could happen. But FOMC minutes, Fed press conference, we do have it on Wednesday. Do we have something today? I only see here that we do have 6 p.m. We do have PMI. Let me know if there's any. Is there FOMC today, guys? Let me know. There's Fed press conference on Wednesday. Let me know right away in the comment section. I don't see it here on Trading Economics, but I think I heard somebody say that also. Let me know right away, guys, because I really don't follow up on the news. You know that. Andy, can you share your VRVP settings? VRVP settings? I mean, are you talking about this one? There it is. Row size 200 or 150 is okay. Is it VRVP? There you have it. Let's continue here. It has been shared, my man. Much love to you. Looks like we're getting a lot of divergence here on the uptrending support. Uptrending support resistance, right? Uptrending support. A lot of divergence on this local uptrending support on the lower time frame. Sometimes these small little trend lines do mean something, right? When you do take a look at the trend line that we formed from, let's get all of these levels off the chart. The trend line from the lows of April has been broken, right? Shall we put much significant into this, guys? Sometimes you just need a trend line, right? To realize that it is bearish. Yesterday, we did talk about this scenario on the video update, right? Danger, dump, right? Warning. Just realizing that this could be the end of a 5-wave move up. And if this is a grinding multiple 1-2 setup that a lot of people are not aware of, and you start breaking down in a third wave. However, this third wave is very small, I have to say. But you could form, very aggressive 4-5s here, if that were to be, all of this were to be multiple 1-2s. So I wouldn't give too much importance. The plan is simple here for the bulls. All of those people that were swing trading, this is a swing trading short level. Anybody that shorted here throughout Friday or Saturday on a swing trade strategy, right? Eventually you would want to see that dump down to the mid 80k levels, right? If you're swing trading short here. This is a swing short position, right? It's going to be many days to hold a short position here and give the chance to the bears based on the golden pocket from all-time high. So it was not a bad idea to get into a low capital, low leverage swing short. You're looking for a big move down. But for the day trading setups, I don't have enough information here on the lower time frame for a short position on a bounce. I would rather want to see I am in a swing short position, by the way, from higher, very, very, very low capital, low leverage. But for a local short, 𝗕𝗏𝘆 did provide a short trade setup today in the Legends trading community, which was literally back testing the point of control. Very, very good. Very nice. Slight back test here from the point of control as we were moving up. Right there to that level, which was a good short trade to target the lows, right? You break down and you got that major resistance. I would be interested in giving the chance to the bulls, right? Anybody that's trying to long down here in this downtrend from the weekend and is speculating on longs and that we are going to hold the value area low or that we're going to SFP, they are at massive risk, right? You are at massive risk. For all of those people that are joining right now and just subscribing maybe and just looking at the content, for me, for this to be a corrective structure, rule number one, you cannot claim this low. And if you do, it's going to be a larger correction. Whatever happens next, it doesn't matter. But if you want to believe that this is going to be a higher low and we're going to continue to the upside, very strongly, it is crucial to maintain this higher low if we are in a new wave. And this is just your first wave 1, 2, and 3, which is already extremely decreasing in probabilities just because of the pullback. You're hitting the 0.88 Fibonacci from the low to the highs, which is rare for a wave 2, but you would have to give it a chance. You just need to start seeing some reclaims of levels. So for me, instead of trying to long here, which is just there's no long trade. There's no long trade. If you want to speculate that you're going to long here, well, I don't know. Stop loss here, stop loss here. I'm not going to take that chance because I want to make money, right? and I don't have a reason here personally for a long setup. So what I need to see is some big sign of strength. I have explained this throughout the beginning of the stream. You would have to, at least at a bare minimum, get above the point of control of this range and form a 5-wave structure to the upside, and most importantly, claim that lower high, the initial stage of the drop. If this level is claimed, it's all of this no longer becomes an impulse, or no, it doesn't become anything. It becomes a corrective structure. Because if if the biggest move with the highest amount of volume, and you do not follow through with a wave 5 and start claiming the lows, if this large move down finishes here, which you should be labeled as your wave 3, and you do not get your wave 4, it's 4 and 5, your 4's in already, you don't get your wave 5s, 4, 5s, possibly continuation down based on multiple 1-2s here. If you were to maintain even this higher low right there from a few hours ago, and you reclaim the start of the drop, I would say that this could be very bullish and we could get back up to the highs of Friday. If we get this pop out from the trend line, from the point of control, which we did get resistance a few hours ago, and we form a 5-wave structure, if we form this kind of movement, the correction is where I want to dive in. I want to dive in here and get into a long. That would be a clear sign of strength for me. Oh, we're bouncing a little bit now pretty nicely. Little bit of a quick bounce here on the very low time frame. So I think the bulls are very much aware that they need to defend this low right now, because if this low is hit, then you could count this as a possible impulsive move. Just because your third wave is the largest move, you want to label this as your third wave. If not, it can be an ABC. It can be a 3-wave structure. If the bulls defend this low right over here and they break out and reclaim that lower high, oh my goodness, this could be very, very bullish. It could be very, very bullish. It could be very, very bullish because this will automatically end up in a 3-wave move. You don't want the largest move after the bounce to form a higher low. If you form a higher low after the big move, you're automatically labeling this as a 3-wave structure. And the biggest move with the highest amount of volume or the biggest price action can either be a C wave or a third wave, right? Most commonly. And if you form a higher low after the big move and you reclaim the start of the move, this is, that's the sign of strength. There's no doubt about it. And you're reclaiming the point of control. So I would be very, very interested in longing the pullback. I will be eyeing the pullback here without a doubt, because we might go to higher levels. But we need all of this happening. As soon as you claim this low and you claim this low, then yeah, that's it. We could get that bounce eventually. That doesn't mean that we cannot bounce up. And this is very local price action anyway. SFP longs is a possibility. I would take them as a scalp. SFP long from the higher lows of the range. Very classic for an SFP. Liquidity grab, you get that instant reaction after stop losses and take profits. But I wouldn't say that we're going to do this. We could, and you form a large ABC flat. But this is just an intraday little scalp. Sweeping up these lows, by the way. Man, the bulls are trying to come out here. The bulls are trying to defend that low. I think the bulls are very much aware that if they do defend the low of the drop, and they do manage to reclaim the point of control, end this high, preferably with a big breakout here for that third wave. I mean, this is the chance that they do have right now. The chance is now. Oh, we got that news kicking in right now. It came up higher than expected. PMI. Let's take a look at the stock market. What's going on with the stocks? Probably getting also a move to the upside. Little move up. Let's get this out of the way. Little move up on the stock market. Nothing too major with that news, but it is dragging Bitcoin to the upside. We'll not get excited for the bulls until we reclaim the point of control as a first initial sign, and getting above this lower high will be looking very interesting. If we do this 5-wave structure, it's, I'll be eyeing the pullback down, preferably to look for a long position. We need to see some proof of support, point of control holding. A little bit of choppiness beneath the point of control is fine, but overall, I would be interested in the pullback later on, because it could be a sign of strength. Till that happens, downtrending. We're downtrending since Friday, so yeah, it's going to be looking interesting for the bulls. They have a chance, right? They do have a chance if they maintain this low. They're trying, that is for sure. They are trying. Already reclaimed the session VWAP locally. So the main idea here for the bulls, pretty simple. You broke out from this range. The start was from this low, and a higher low here is crucial. But we want our first wave out from all of the resistance, and then it could be looking interesting. Till that happens, we do not have nothing really, right? All of those people that want to jump into longs here aggressively, they are really taking the chance here that this is going to form a higher low, right? But I need a bit more information. I'm not here to really speculate. It's bullish, and I'm long in here, I'm long in here, I'm long in here. I need chart analysis, I need data, I need signs of strength. And for me, the plan is pretty clear. We get back above this level. I'm not going to explain it again. I have that feeling that I've explained the same thing for about 5 times. 7-minute news. ISM services PMI is bullish. Long BTC now, target 96, 97K. Let's go. People saying long BTC right now, as we do have the news being bullish. Yeah, long now. Let's go. It's bullish. Target 96. I like this price action locally. Yeah. I wouldn't be too sure about the situation here. But people are going aggressive. Long Bitcoin now. Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple, guys. Here for me, it's, you know, we need to reclaim that level and preferably hit the lower high from the start of the dump that we had today. You know, that could be a good sign. Retracement will be looking very interesting. Very simple to understand. You need to understand your sign of strengths. You're downtrending here still. The big move just happened a few hours ago. Lower high. You know. Yeah. A lot of more people interested in longing than shorting, right? A lot of more people are more interested in longs than shorts. And, you know, I think higher time frame people that are trading Bitcoin are more interested in getting into the damn short based on the golden pocket, right? I mean, I would assume that that was already on Friday and Saturday. No doubt. But that is, you know, there are people shorting the market here throughout the last few days in this range. There's no doubt. You can see it on the liquidity, right? We are piling still liquidity above 98K. There's lots of liquidity, you know, lots of liquidity still when you, yeah, I mean, look at the last 7 days, you know, there's more shorts right now. 98K is the sweet spot eventually. All of these people that are shorting on the higher time frame, they understood this. They understood this chart. The rejection of the golden pocket, right? So there's no doubt that it's such a good level to short, guys, based on a swing trade, right? The last few days. So you're short here, your stop loss is at 100K, right? And you are aiming for mid 80K levels possibly in the next 1 to 2 weeks, right? Just a chilled swing short the market. Stop loss is a few $1,000s above 98K. I'm going to short 97K zone, right? Because it's I don't blame you if you wanted to short here. You know, it's a swing short level. So yeah, it's just a very technical level on the chart here, guys. You know, it's just and when you consider, you know, and higher time frame traders, basically swing traders, they understand this movement. If you fly like this in a matter of a few weeks, basically on April, there are several ways in counting this, and all of the ways do count for a possible end of a structure, a possible end of a wave. Regardless, you know, counting this as that you're going to form a big 5-wave move up here was an option. It is an option still until you lose the lows, which you're very close in losing. But the simple way of looking at this is you got a big move up, a large consolidation, a large move up here, a large consolidation, and the next leg to the upside, which could be labeled as a finished move up. And, you know, it's either a finished 5-wave move up, and then when you consider this, looking at the 1 hourly time frame, if you move up in a 5-wave structure and you come up to the golden pocket from all-time high to the low, reaching the point of control, you know, there's no such thing as up forever, right? You know, at some point you are going to get a deep pullback. It's just It's understanding the situation here, guys. I'm the biggest Bitcoin bull out there long term, but when you consider this, you need to understand that there's no such thing as a straight line to all-time high. However, let's bring a little bit of hopium here for the bulls. If you do not hit the lows of this range, which is at 92,900, and you form a higher low with this drop that we had, the bulls actually have a chance here for this movement to not be finished, and it's actually going to extend to $100,000 plus. But it is close to invalidation. That is for sure. We're only $1,000 away of invalidating this scenario, and you already retraced to the 0.88 Fibonacci from this latest wave. So the probabilities are decreasing massively for that scenario, which we are very likely just going to correct or form sideways momentum here for the next coming weeks. But just to give a little bit of hopium for all those massive bulls, there was massive bulls on the channel last week, man. It was crazy. The bulls were everywhere. It was like bull, 100K, bang, bang, all-time high, doom. It's like, if you talked about anything bearish, I was getting bashed. So yeah, let's give them a chance. Bulls have a chance. I'm out of my longs, guys. I had a few longs here in this range. I was out at the highs. Screw that. I'm out. From the local day trade longs from last week. But gotta give it a chance. I would be interested in jumping into another long, but we need to see that breakout, get back above the lower high of the start of the drop from today, and get back above the point of control. Then I would say, damn, this is looking pretty interesting. And that's if these lows are not hit. Once these lows are hit, I'm not interested in this scenario. I'm interested, this might be an ABC. It might be a flat. But if we claim these lows, I would expect more sideways corrective structure. And then the lows might be broken aggressively. It doesn't matter. If these lows are claimed, I'm not interested in the bullish case, as explained before. Because then, yeah, that's it, right? If you sweep up these lows, this was the end of the wave, regardless of being at 5 waves up, right? Or the ABC 3-wave structure, which is, the most bearish case scenario. If you sweep up beneath this level, I'm not interested already in getting into longs. Are we actually looking for shorts on the bounce? Depending on how price action moves eventually, right? And it's understanding the structure, guys. No matter how the ETFs and all of that rubbish is a big fat nothing burger, guys. Don't fall in for the news and the bullishness of ETFs and Donald Trump being the first crypto president. You know what? The inauguration day of the first US crypto president was the top. So, do not rely on the news or any of that crap, because yeah, it was the top, guys. First crypto president in US, and it was the top. And yeah, inflows here were massive, guys. If you take a look at the inflows on ETFs here, yeah, it was a lot. There was a lot of inflows here. What happened to that? Well, yeah, it was a double top. We just had to retrace. So don't buy all of that BS here that Bitcoin's the most bullish thing ever. It is, and it will go to all-time high and to $1 million in the future. I'm very much aware of that happening. But locally, let's maintain our feet in the ground and understand the technicals. And the technicals are telling us that there could be an end of a wave here to the upside. And we're hitting the golden pocket. We're hitting a point of control. No matter how you analyze the local movement to the upside, it's just telling you that a movement down and a correction, regardless if it's going to be sideways or not, it's about time. It's about time. Okay, so nothing to worry about. This is only short-term possible correction, pullback. Then, depending on how the price action develops throughout the next coming days, we will really analyze if it is going to be bullish or bearish. If you move down in a three-wave structure and you start seeing some overlap from this pivot, it's going to be looking damn good. And I'll be the biggest bull out there saying, guys, now is the moment that we start thinking about all-time high. And that's, using this as the best example, right? The best example was the previous cycle where you moved up, you got a nice leg here to the upside, correction. You have a little bit of a kind of a contracting move here to the upside here on your wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. And then you have the 3-wave structure, descending channel move. This is the moment you want to be bullish. If this movement down doesn't get follow through and you overlap these pivots, you want to be bullish on the retracement. Of course, there's the double 1-2 danger where you have 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, but it's where you take the chance. This is where you take the chance on a 3-wave structure. That's the low, and you're looking for a higher low here. That's the moment you want to, 50% to 7, 8. I mean, this is higher time frame. This would be for a swing long position. So anyway, there's still a lot of information here that we need to know about based on the higher time frame, if it is going to be bullish or not. Because, is there a chance to come down to $76,000? And I'm going to get shot if I do say this. If any, of course, there is definitely a chance. This could still be part of a major large corrective structure. Without a doubt. It's still possible. Yeah, there would be a way to analyze this as a larger correction where you have this, and this. And this movement, either an A, B, C flat. Oh my goodness, and that would be devastating. That would be devastating. So you got your W here on a zigzag. You got the movement up in a zigzag. This zigzag move down, and now a 5-wave move to the upside, which is what you want to see on your C wave of a flat, forming your X wave, and then golden pocket. I mean, that would be really, really brutal to form a double zigzag here, and you literally come down below $74,000. There is a chance, looking at the structure, this could be a flat in your X wave. So you're gonna have to really see, right? I mean, you can't say it's not possible. You need to have a bearish count, and the bearish count would be this one. You got a zigzag down, you got a flat in your X, which is you have the low, the highs, the lows, and then this movement up. It's a valid count, that is for sure. Well, I'm probably going to get extremely bashed here talking about that nonsense. Let's take a look at the poll. Let's take a look at the poll here, because I did ask the community, what is your over 1,000 votes? What absolute legends here. And that like button is already at 360. Let's get to 400 likes, legends. Much love to you, brothers and sisters. Just lost $20, my man. Stay safe. Yeah, I mean, stay defensive. Somebody said we long right now. Target is 96K. Stay cautious, guys. Have a proper plan. There's nothing to be... I don't have anything right now. The bullish case is breaking out here without claiming the lows. Important to not claim this low. Important to not claim this low. If we were to form a higher low right there and we get that breakout above point of control, it can be bullish. it can be bullish if we break in a 5-wave structure here, higher low. It can be bullish, guys. You know, we might see another high, but it's extremely important to defend these lows. So if you want to speculate on that, I don't want to speculate. We're downtrending. You know, I want to see the sign of strength first, right? I need information. I need the sign of strength. Instead of saying it's going to happen, I bet right now on the bulls. Let's see first the sign of strength with all of that information, and then I'll jump into the long later on. It doesn't matter. I don't mind not catching the lows here. But if we do not reclaim those levels and we start dumping down, then, you know, all of those people that were trying to long, you know, beforehand, before the sign of strength, are going to get stopped out or liquidated if they don't know what they're doing, right? So anyway, let's this is pretty interesting to see. Out of 1,000 votes, Bitcoin low is almost in, pumped to $100,000. That has the highest vote, guys. People are very optimistic with the situation. I'm optimistic, but I just want to see, you know, I want to see information, right? I want to see a sign of strength. And the sign of strength for me is crystal clear. Get back above that point of control at 94,800 and start getting above that lower high, preferably in a local 5-wave move on the lower time frame. If we get this price action, I'm interested in the pullback, and I'm eyeing 50% golden pocket, right? Because I would see that this could happen. We actually shoot up here, but first we need this. First I need this, not we. I mean, you do you. Yeah, and I would give the bulls a chance. I would be interested in that long for sure. So we need a lot going on here. People don't give a damn of the TA based on the amount of bullishness, right, that Bitcoin is. It doesn't mean that this has to be the high. Like I mentioned, maybe this is a higher low from that 5th wave. You know, there is as long as I would start worrying once we claim these lows, then I would say that the range is going to continue and we are going to correct. But the people don't give a damn on realizing where the resistance is. They're just, this is what happens when you're a perma bull or a perma bear. I'm giving the chance for the bulls. I just need a first sign of strength. I will jump into that long once we get that breakout and see what I want to see on the lower time frame. You know, as a day trader, I will get into the position once I see that information. And I would give the chance here for the bulls that maybe they do create that, you know, 5th wave extension. Where is it? My goodness. Where is it? I lost it. I must have deleted it. Yeah, but literally give that possibility that we are still breaking up here to the upside, and that we do have a chance that this 5-wave move to the upside has not finished. The moment we get down below this pivot, then yeah, I'm not buying it. Give it a chance. We've got a higher low here. Why not still be inside of this wave? Why not? I'm not buying it till I see that sign of strength. This could be the top. We're hitting the local top, okay? We're hitting that major level of resistance. You know, people are just not aware of this situation, which is pretty interesting, right? So anyway, yeah, looking at the votes here, low is almost in, pumped to 100k plus, 34%. Wow, pretty crazy. Just a correction, max to 92K zone. We have 30% saying that. Shallow pullbacks is what we're expecting, right? By the looks of things here in the comment section. Just a correction, but lower to 84, 88K zone. Lots of people like that as well. Bear market, we go to 74K, minus 74K, 12%. There's actually 12% out of over 1,000 votes, legends, that are bear market, baby. It's a trap. It's a trap. Pretty nice to see that. Anyway, yeah. Thanks, Andy West. Much love to you. Like the stream. World War 208. We're almost 400 likes. Thank you very much for the like button, guys. We're just giving you that information, what I need to see. We are downtrending on the very local time frame. There is the risk of a larger pullback. We will give the bulls a chance if we do maintain those lows of this range. I mean, at least me, based on my analysis. You can have your own analysis, right? I've explained what I would want to re-enter a long position. Anybody that was longing throughout the last couple of weeks, it's not a bad idea to, well, last few days would have been ideal to take profit instead of, waiting for the drop eventually. So yeah, not a bad idea to really consider getting those profits, right? If you've shorted from lower, just purely based on this as well. This is a good reason why to take profit from any longs, if you want to take profit from higher levels, right? So yeah, remember, guys, I think, this bonus will not be in tomorrow because we'll probably have more than 100 users already. But the first 100 users after this campaign do get $100 US dollar tether for free, guys. First 100 users get $100 US dollar tether bonus, which you can use for your trading. It's up to $30,000 bonus eventually. More you trade and more volume you move, you're going to get airdrops to increase your capital. But free money, guys, $300 for the first 100 users that sign up with the link down below, guys. And you also get 25% fee reduction instantly as you sign up with the second link, guys. Take advantage of that bonus that MEXC has given. This bonus will very likely not be in tomorrow or after tomorrow because it's free money, basically. You cannot withdraw the free $100, guys. It's used for trading, okay? Whatever you make with that $100, you can withdraw the profits eventually. Yeah, not much more to say here, guys. 92.8K next level. If it does, there's a small little swing failure pattern. Take this as a scalp. This is a little scalp level. It might SFP. If it does not SFP, then we're breaking down, right? Where there's no more. You don't want to fight the dump. Only if you swing failure pattern, I would consider a little scalp just to make some bucks here to the session VWAP and the low. That's if you do get down there, right? And you SFP, a little scalp. It might bounce at $500, even almost $1,000. Little scalp. Stay cautious with your trading, legends. I'm going to wrap it up. Much love to everybody, and I will see you tomorrow.